Greetings! Is Rivals any better than FUT Champs? Before we get into that and the story around that idea for today's video, it's only fair that I show you guys what came out of our 28-2 Ultimate Team of the Season FUT Champs finish from last week. And a big thank you to all of you for all the great comments, because your energy was surely single-handedly responsible for what's to come. Because when I redeemed these rewards, I couldn't have imagined the scenes that would ensue. And so starting with our red picks, the first man that would appear before us would be Hernandez alongside our guaranteed De Vrij. Naturally, we ended up going with the French left back who plays for AC Milan. A solid pull, but definitely not an ultimate pull for our ultimate performance in Ultimate TOTS, which is where our second pick comes in and gives us the same sort of player, and then a 96 Oblak, which did not impress me, but in the end, I believe we did choose him and we would use him in an SBC. Now, obviously we weren't happy yet, we needed something special, but before that, a reminder about what we said last week. You guys know that my dream is to have a cracked red player pick in the first. Could our dream become a reality? This is it. The fuck? We got a good red. We got a good red. I cannot believe it. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We got the red pick, the cracked red pick that we all wished for, as here we open our guaranteed ultimate packs that are actually tradable. And the first one we were very prepared for. We knew that at least one of the two would have these players, some of the most unprofitable players, but it's okay. We got red Ronaldo. Our dream has been completed. Someone up above is looking out for us, giving us all these blessings recently, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Of course, I would have rather had a cracked red a little bit earlier in the year, but whenever it happens, we'll take it. In the second pack, we get Oblak, so we were actually on course to making less than 600k from these packs, which is actually surprisingly bad, but Hernandez saves the day and makes this bearable and allows us to make around 890,000 coins after all that tax and jazz and blah blah blah. But back to the point of the video. Division Rivals. This is something I wanted to share because of an exciting game that I played. But before we get to that, if you've been playing FIFA for a while now, you'll know that when it was being introduced as a mode in FIFA 19, it was to take the spot of what used to be the normal divisions, which, if you don't know, was a mode that played out exactly like the counterpart outside of FIFA Ultimate Team in the normal head-to-head version. The only difference was that in Ultimate Team, after every single season ended, which would usually be around 5 to 10 games, you would get instant coins. And if I remember correctly, in Division 1, it was 15k coins instantly after winning Division 1. So when they did introduce Rivals in FIFA 19, I was low-key very curious. You don't see new modes come out often because on paper, the concept of a skill rating was nice. It makes sense to have in a video game to see how high up a ladder you can go, how high you can get your skill rating. But as we all know, it wouldn't have taken long for Rivals to become an absolute drag, because that became the only realistic mode to grind other than Champs, as obviously Divisions was removed altogether. To make matters worse, at the time we didn't have the same format for friendlies as we do today, and EA placed objectives mostly in Rivals, meaning players like me, close to 3k skill rating at the time, would have to do the same objectives that we do today against Elite 1 players or Elite 2 players and their mega teams, all of which didn't have a single interest in doing these objectives like I did. So imagine trying to complete an icon swap with an icon swap team against someone who has no interest in doing so, and their mega team with Gullit, Ronaldo, etc, etc. The trickle effect of this was huge, as many people in my division purposely smurfed and would lower themselves as low as Division 4 or 5 to get easier matchmaking, but that also made life even worse for players and pretty much any skill rating across the board. The positive thing is that with FIFA 21, as we all know, they finally quote-unquote fixed that by placing most objectives in specific friendly modes that, although still involve an element of skill-based matchmaking, it feels a lot more lenient, and even if it doesn't to you, at least you're facing other people doing objectives now. The obvious bad thing is that if you ever have a desire to grind rivals and to go as high as you can go, because that's essentially the point of any ladder-based system, once you get to around 2200 skill rating or so, the matchmaking is capped, meaning that whether you're 2200, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, it doesn't matter. You're now in the same pool. The only thing that changes is how many points per win you get. It keeps on decreasing, but the players that you face are still the same, which is why to this day, no matter how high I go in my skill rating, I will still be able to face people at 2000 or even as low as 1900 skill rating. And as you can see on the screen, when I was at 2400 on my road to 2500, it wasn't a fun experience knowing a win could yield me a measly few points, but a draw would decimate as much as 10, 12, maybe even 15 or more. And as you can imagine, a loss against a player at like 1900, 2000, 2100 would be close to 30 points lost, which is really imbalanced compared to the 2 or 3 points I would gain for a win. Now, I know what you're thinking. While it's fair that those are the points allocated based on the difference between my skill rating and an opponent's, you also have to remember how easy it is to get rigged in this game. So it makes the whole experience extremely unenjoyable the higher you go. Which brings us to the focal point of today's video, which is the day that I essentially felt like we completed Rivals. We found ourselves in this match at 2494 skill rating, 6 points away from 2500 skill rating. And in my head, I figured that averaging around 2 skill rating 1 per win, we would need at least 3 more to get over the hump. But first, we had a game to win. And the game started with Messi trying to say, Stallion, I will carry you to 2500. But really, it would be Dembele who survives the test of physical strength after a nice 1-2 and gives us the lead. Our opponent would then try and come back with a directional nutmeg, but we would survive. And after we fast forwarded, we would do a 1-2 Cantona Dembele. A lot of space here, but unfortunately we would choke and the play would pretty much die out and it would amount to nothing. Unfortunate, but sometimes it'd be like that. Directional nutmeg once again for my opponent as he pushes me to the wing and caused me to defend really poorly. I guess I got drunk from the skill moves 1-1, but still plenty of time to play Messi into Dino, into Cantona, and the king does not miss. Nice little 2-1 lead right before the half, and again he comes back at me off kickoff with, you guessed it, a directional nutmeg, but when you thought it was over, he does another directional. So when he makes his third directional at this point, I'm thinking, all right, give me your fourth directional. I know your fourth directional in a single play is coming. And right before you think, oh, it's not coming, it came. There it was. But again, second half, we know we need that third goal to seal the deal here. And what a way to get that third goal. I mean, he had no idea what was going on. De Jong with the overlap on the CDM. Quick passing, his defenders got overloaded, but we knew that it had just started. An interception that should have happened, leading to a directional, some skills. At this point, I have no idea what's going on, bro. I'm gone. I'm gonzo beans. We tackle, get away with murder, asked the ref after the game, and he said he didn't give it because it was a directional tax on my opponent, so he, compensation. Could be potentially questionable refereeing. As you can see here, a couple of chances here that we let squander by with a Messi and Cantona finesses. Our opponent continues his directional bonanza. We clench the cheeks to survive, and that we do. Zambrata clears it. Once again, Ronaldo, skills, getting me drunk. Directional nutmeg, we survive once again. Are we ever going to stop surviving? Because it might be here. After constant press and a barrage of directionals, this might be where we fall. He gets the counterattack. Really good pass from him here. When you look past all the directionals and the constant press, then yeah, it was a great goal. And then here we go. Directional, cancel croqueta. Spins left, right. We're in the box. Rebounds dropping back to him. We're clenching and we do just enough to give him a corner. And off the corner kick. Unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that I absolutely apologize to nobody for this defensive masterclass that we survive. And here he goes in desperation. And of course, with 40 seconds left, we need these 2 points that we're going to get. Neuer tries to make me score an own goal. He fails. We boot it out. And let's go grab our 2 points on our way to 2,500 skill rating. But wait, he was also a high skill rating. He was 2461. We got 14. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the day I beat Rivals. We got to 2,500. And this was pretty much the day that I realized, is Rivals better than FUT Champs? Absolutely not.